Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I'm going to do another This and That show. I did one not too long ago, but I'm into a lot of different things right now, so I want to kind of give you an overview of what's happening and what's coming up. I finally got a reasonable reception test of the Sony SW77 versus the Texan PL680. I was struggling with that because the shortwave bands, and that's what I was testing, the shortwave bands, were pretty dead, and they continue to remain that. And I had to end up using an external antenna, which I did not want to do, but in order to get some kind of test results, I used an external antenna. Actually used the MFJ 31-foot vertical antenna, which has been doing a really good job for me. And the radios came out about the same. Of course, you know, listening to radio stations and trying to do a comparison is a little difficult. You know, it's definitely not precise. You got so many variables. Things are changing, and it takes a while because my antenna switch I need to replace, I can't use, and so it's taking me time to switch in the antenna between radios and radios. So I don't know if it was conclusive or not. It appears, like I say, they are about the same as far as reception. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Now, before I go on, I want to talk about something that's been driving me crazy off and on for about a year, and most recently it's really been broke. And that is two things. One is comments to my videos. What normally happens is when somebody leaves a comment to a video, YouTube sends me an email about that comment that, you know, actually shows the comment. And then I can click on the link in that email and go to that comment and reply or whatever. They do not send me any notification if somehow a comment is marked as a spam, which means it won't show up until I accept it. Now, I'm guessing on all this stuff. So another user can mark somebody else's comment as a spam. And I think at that point, I'm guessing here, I think at that point, that comment is taken off so nobody can see it except me. Now, as I said, I don't get any notification. The only way I notice that there are comments that have been marked spam is that if I get a notification that there's a good comment with not flagged as a spam, and I go to that particular show, there will be a bar at the top above the comments that says you have comments or something that needs to be looked at, or something like that. And so then you, as the owner of the channel, then you click on that and it takes you to a page which has all your comments, and they're categorized by, I think, 3 different categories, and one of them is they're marked as spam. So then you go to that page and it lists all the comments and exactly what they are that were marked spam. It doesn't tell you why or how or anything like that. Complete mystery. Quite often, YouTube, if you put a link in your comment, they will automatically mark it as spam so that the owner of the channel can go verify that that link is a good link and it's not going to take your subscribers or viewers to a website that's going to do something bad to their computers. So that part I understand. Other comments that have been marked spam, I have no idea why they were marked spam, but there they were. So for years that I've had this channel, I've gone in and read the comments that were marked spam and either accepted them, and then when I accepted them, then I could go back to that particular show page and I could then comment on their comment, reply to their comment. Otherwise I couldn't. Or if indeed it was a link to a website that was a spam or an advertisement or something, I could delete it. Well, for the past 2 months, using that method, I've sometimes, or most of the time, I can see the comments that are marked spam, but I can't do anything with them. None of the buttons to react to that work. I click on a button and nothing happens. And at first, I thought it was because on the one computer that I use for reading my emails and looking at these comments was running, or is running, Windows XP, and it's using an old version of Chrome, which is no longer supported under Windows XP. So I thought that was it. So I started reviewing those comments that were marked as spam under another computer that was running Windows 7 and a new version of Chrome, and I was able to do something with that comment marked as spam. Well, last week that stopped working. That's why I had these comments that had been marked spam by either YouTube or another user, and I couldn't do anything with them. Well, a good friend of mine, Steve, who has a YouTube channel on electronics, he was asking me, we were talking about, via emails, we were talking about problems with YouTube. And he said that, have I had any problems, and have I had any problems with people getting locked out of comments? And I said, yes, yes, yes. And so he did a search, and thank him for doing that, Steve. He did a search for and found a video that explains now how you have to go in and work on those comments that are marked spam, or see, which I've never been able to do, see who has been locked out of your channel. I've never known how to do that. And it turns out the spam part is the same page that I've been using, except you get there through a different path. You go through another page on YouTube that's available to the producers on YouTube to get to that same page, and then it works. And it even works under Windows XP. I don't know what that's all about. So anyway, I now know how to get to the page that shows me the messages that have been marked spam, and I can either accept them, delete them, whatever. And there's another thing that you can see by going through that path on the way to looking at spam, where you can see users that are blocked from your channel from making comments. And it turns out there's about 25 people. Now, how they got blocked, I don't know. I have blocked maybe 1 or 2 people because they were putting curse words in comments. So I blocked them from making any comments in the future. But that's 1 or 2 out of 25. And I look, most of the people that are in that list I don't really know. There's a few people I do know, and it makes no sense why they were blocked. Now, the other thing is, when I started looking into how these people got on that list, it appears that you can, like I can go to another channel other than mine. I can read the comments, and then I have two options under a comment, and one is to report it as spam, a la mark it as spam, and two, report it as abuse, whatever that means. That could be what's happening. So that means and maybe I shouldn't even tell you this because I don't want you to do that, but apparently you, as a user of another channel, you can go in there and mark comments as spam, and then they go in a spam folder, and other people don't see it until I go in and fix it, and I get no message to tell me that it's been marked as spam. I just have to run across it when I'm looking at other comments. And you can report a user as, or a comment as an abuse, which that may or may not block the person from making future comments on that channel. Again, I get no email that tells me this happened. I never got any emails that told me those 25 people had been blocked from my channel. So thanks to Steve, I at least now can get to that information and do something on it, which I could not before. So sorry for the babbling, but I've been talking about this off and on, and I want to explain to people why some of their comments don't show up and why I don't reply to some comments. That's why, I think, for today. Moving on. Okay, the next thing is, and I don't have it here, matter of fact, I have it running right now, is I got a new dongle, the one from Flightware, that is designed to monitor the transponders on aircraft. And as I mentioned a couple of shows ago, it has filtering for filtering out other frequencies than the one that you want to listen to, which is at 1.090 megahertz. And I've got that running right now. I'm not getting much traffic, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so there won't be much air traffic. Once that is working, and I compare it to, say, this one to see if it provides any improvement, again, it's kind of empirical data because I'm just using the actual aircraft that fly overhead to see, you know, what kind of traffic I'm seeing. Then I need to continue on and come up with a decent antenna, which I don't have right now. So that's where that is. Now, the computer I'm running that on right now is, it has, it's a dual boot in that it boots into either Linux or Windows. And I've showed you this computer, and the Linux has programs for these dongles already installed. And one of them being the program called Dump 1090, which I showed it to you in a recent show, that lets you track these aircraft. Well, I am totally illiterate when it comes to Linux. The only reason I'm able to run that program is because it was already all set up. I don't even know how to add a program to the Linux system that's on that hard drive. So I need to do some reading and or get some input from my users about just the simple stuff you do on Linux as opposed to Windows. Another reason I need to get up to speed on Linux is I want to get back to my little Raspberry Pi computer on a card, which runs versions, and there's many versions of Linux out there, of Linux, so that ultimately I can use the little Raspberry card instead of a full-blown computer to monitor the air traffic. Now, somebody mentioned on my show about doing that I did a couple of shows ago, that he had it working such that he could identify a particular aircraft or airlines or something to, excuse me, set an alarm off when that particular aircraft or that particular flight number is overhead and it's being tracked. I asked the guy, what software does that? I don't know what software does that. If you know, please let me know. So, what I'm trying to say is, I need help with Linux. I need help with software to track these aircraft transponders. I'm total newbie when it comes to Linux. So that's about it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else right offhand. I do have another new SDR coming from Japan. It's the product line called Soft 66. I've reviewed 2 or 3 of his dongles. He sent it to me, and he has a new one that has an interface such that, and that's all I know about it, such that you can put it on the internet so people can come in and use that SDR. So it's like a remote radio, similar to web SDR. And it runs, it's not web SDR, is it web SDR? It runs there's 2 or 3 popular websites that give you this opportunity to use other people's radios. And I think it might be web SDR. I could be wrong. But apparently this particular SDR is set up to do just that. And I'm excited about getting that to me. He said he is now shipping them, and he's going to ship me one to check out. So that's coming up. I think that's about it. It finally got a little cool here in Florida. It's in the 50s this morning, so I don't have to have any fans on in my workshop. And there is a mosquito or 2 that snuck in during yesterday that's been driving me nuts. So I'm glad that Steve was able to help me out with his comments problem. So that's about it. If you enjoy this and that shows, please give me a thumbs up. Now you can leave all the comments you want to, including comments with links. And I now know today, maybe it'll change tomorrow and break again, I now know how to get to those comments so that I can approve them and reply to them. Have a great day. Bye-bye. What did I ramble? Oh, boy, did I ramble.